Dr. Pitsch is from Wabaunesee, and it took me a while to learn how to say that correctly. I used to say Wabaunesee, and people would laugh at me, but when you're from St. Francis, Kansas, Wabaunesee is a different place. Wabaunesee was one of the first videos that we put on the Kansas School Board Resource Center website, and it has been viewed a lot of times because basically the SEL requirements that have to be met by the state, you've done a sort of unique twist on it, and the success that you're having is something that we were anxious to hear more about. So Dr. Pitsch, come on down. You want to walk here or up there? I'll hit the mic up here. Okay.
There we go. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to address you today. I am Dr. Troy Pitsch, the Superintendent of Schools for USD 329 Wabaunesee. Alongside me are the dedicated members of our educational team, Sarah Eckstein, Jordan Dunn, Callie Meinhardt, and Susan Gronquist. Today we are here to share a story of how our approach to social emotional character development, and more specifically the Leader in Me program, has helped transform our schools and most importantly, the lives of our students. We are here to share a glimpse into what we believe is our program's profound impact on our students' success and posit that a strong correlation exists between our commitment to leadership education and our students' achievements. We're excited to showcase our journey, and we hope our experience can provide insights into the possibilities of education when leadership, character development, and academic excellence align. I'd like to begin our presentation by providing an overview of our district's enrollment demographics. As of 2023, our district serves 425 students. Regarding racial diversity, our population is predominantly white, with 10% identifying as Hispanic, 5% representing 2 or more races, and 1% as Native or African American. Additionally, 1 in 3 students qualify for free and reduced lunch. In our district, we emphasize the ABCs of student success: attendance, behavior, and curriculum. We believe that these 3 pillars are essential for a well-rounded education. Let's begin with attendance and see how our students' commitment to being present has contributed to our overall success. As we delve into the specifics of our district, let's look at our attendance rate. During the 2022 program year, the district rate for attendance was 92.5%, slightly exceeding the state rate of 92.1%. As we progressed into 2023, we witnessed a further improvement in the district rate, which reached 93.3%, surpassing the state rate of 92.8%. It's important to remember that a few students can significantly impact data in smaller districts like ours, making our consistent attendance rates more notable. Moving forward, while we don't have a dedicated slide to our student behavior data because it's refreshingly minimal, it's a point of pride for us. Just 1% of our students experience off-campus suspensions annually, and we're proud to highlight that our disciplinary actions are statistically equitable, ensuring that all students are treated fairly. On our dropout indicator, our district shines. In 2021, our dropout rate was a mere 0.5%, and in 2022, we achieved a remarkable 0. This is notably lower than the state averages for those years. Reviewing our ACT results shows a consistent trend of our students outperforming the state averages. In 2022, our district achieved an average score of 21.6, while the state averaged 19.8. This pattern holds across multiple years, demonstrating our students' commitment to academic excellence. Our students have demonstrated outstanding proficiency levels in both English language arts and math, showcasing the dedication of our educators and the diligence of our students. In 2023, our district achieved an impressive 44% proficiency rate in ELA, surpassing the state average of 33%. In math, we attained a substantial 50% proficiency rate, significantly exceeding the state average of 31%. These remarkable achievements directly correlate with our focused implementation of the Leader in Me program, emphasizing the importance of character development and academic achievement. The successes affirm our commitment to providing a holistic and comprehensive educational experience, further reinforcing our students' academic success and growth. While we are proud of our high school graduation rates, what truly sets us apart is our student success beyond graduation. Over the years, we've maintained success rates significantly higher than the state average, indicating that our educational programming, including the Leader in Me, effectively prepares students for life after high school. Our dedication to student success was recognized for our predicted effectiveness rate above 61% for the 2022 school year. Now, before delving into the specifics of our approach to social emotional character development and its impact on our district, I'd like to emphasize that while we're proud of our success indicators and the role that the Leader in Me plays, we recognize that student achievement is influenced by a complex interplay of factors, including our unique local context, shared values, and high levels of accountability. We don't claim a one-size-fits-all model, nor do we presume to offer a silver bullet for school improvement. Instead, we're here to share our journey as a case study, highlighting how the Leader in Me, combined with our local environment, has contributed to our students' exceptional outcomes.
Thank you, Dr. Pitsch. Before we get into how our district utilizes Leader in Me in the classrooms to build in their development and character development and social emotional, I thought it might be helpful to have the slide of the what are the Kansas social, emotional, and character development standards. Throughout our presentation, keep these in mind. You'll notice some self-awareness, self-management, as well as significant leadership skills.
The Leader in Me is the social emotional curriculum that we adopted 6 years ago. This curriculum is taught in pre-K through 12th grades. What sets the Leader in Me apart from other social emotional curriculums is its focus on creating student mindsets. This program focuses on more than behavior. It highlights the underlying beliefs, thoughts, and feelings of the individual and creates a framework for our students to follow throughout their lifespan. The 5 core paradigms of the Leader in Me drive the development and delivery of its concepts. The first paradigm, everyone can be a leader, explains that even students can be leaders in their schools, not just adults. The second paradigm, everyone has genius, highlights other strengths of students, not just academic ability. It asserts that there are many other forms of genius, we just need to help students find what theirs is. The third paradigm, Change Starts With Me, identifies real change as occurring within ourselves. It helps students to understand that large-scale changes can't occur without changes within the individual person. The fourth paradigm, Empower Students to Lead Their Own Learning, explains that students are the pilots of their own success. They are in charge of knowing their strengths, areas for growth, their goals, and their progress. The fifth paradigm, Educators and Families Partner to Develop the Whole Person, concludes that we are not just separate entities in the development of each student. It is a collaborative effort between families and the school. The 7 Habits tree is a visual and tangible representation of the habits themselves. This helps students to understand how the first 3 habits begin within us and that the last 4 habits are dependent upon the successful execution of the first 3. If they are successful in implementing habits 1 through 3, then they are set up for habits 4 through 7 to manifest successfully too. This slide provides information about the concepts within each of the 7 habits. This information is shared throughout signage in our buildings, is referenced by staff and other school adults throughout the day, and is reinforced by consistent use of the language in both in and out of school. For example, our food service staff uses habit 2, beginning with the end in mind, when they are preparing to scrape and dump their trays. And our coaches remind their athletes to use habit 6, synergize, when identifying the strengths on the team and ways to improve team performance. The curriculum offered through the Leader in Me program goes from pre-K all the way through college level activities. Depending on the grade level, these lessons are formatted as either direct instruction delivery or as self-navigation. The Leader in Me is evidence-based and data-driven. Each year, the Measurable Results Assessment, aka the MRA, is given to students, staff, and families in our district. In order to develop the goals that are specific to each level, we have each building take theirs separately. The results of this assessment are used to set goals and track progress for the subsequent year. Specifically, it measures the beliefs and feelings around academics, school culture, and leadership. The goal at the elementary level is to teach the framework, language, and concepts associated with the Leader in Me program through direct instruction. We also expect that our students are able to articulate their academic strengths, their areas for growth, their goals, and what they are doing to track the progress of those goals that they've set. This information is shared by the student every fall during their parent-teacher conference. The final goal of our elementary programming is to help students to feel that they are active participants within their schools. They are given specific leadership roles within their classrooms, as well as provided leadership opportunities in leadership groups of their buildings, such as our elementaries, Charter Champions, and Kindness Crusaders. Charter Champions are monthly recognitions for students in grades preschool through 3rd grade. These kiddos are nominated by their classroom teacher, along with which of the habits that they were acknowledged for. These are displayed on a bulletin board in our lunchroom so that the whole school can see their hard work. Kindness Crusaders are 4th and 5th grade student leaders in their building. In order to join this group, kiddos must complete a formal application as well as get 2 references. These are filled out by adults who know them well. Throughout the year, they plan, prepare, and execute a handful of fun projects and events. These include leading the Thanksgiving and Christmas crafts with younger grades, delivering our annual bully prevention classroom lessons, decorating the doors for staff birthdays, and leaf cleanup outside of the building during their fall season.
Thank you, Jordan. This is a picture of my current 1st grade class of leaders. We work constantly to put all strategies and lessons taught through Leader in Me into action. We also build a positive classroom culture by making as many activities as possible student-centered. After several weeks of modeling, I tell my students they are now going to be the leaders of our morning meeting. I wish you could see their faces the moment I share that they will be the leaders. First, they're overly excited. Several are nervous. But once we talk about each step, I assure them that I am there to support them and they are ready to take charge. So, what is a morning meeting? It's a time for students to socialize with their peers. Our meetings are structured to facilitate appropriate peer conversations, practice social skills, and to utilize all the tools learned in Leader in Me lessons. Starting the day with a morning meeting allows students to check in with one another, just as adults enter their workplace and greet and visit with other adults. The morning meeting provides students the opportunity to learn about their friends and to find common interest. It allows students and the teacher to gain an understanding of each individual's needs and skills. It also helps to develop trust and support and to build relationships. Our meetings are approximately 15 to 30 minutes in length, depending on the discussion, with Monday morning meetings usually being the longest because they share about their weekends. Our meetings follow the same format each day. First, the leader will greet the class or request to sing our good morning song. Next, students share. What they share must have happened in the last 24 hours or is an event that's coming soon, such as their birthday. Students celebrate what we are doing well by acknowledging specific things we have accomplished. Next, they address any concerns or areas we need to continue to improve or build upon. This is followed by stating our class mission statement together, which is, we work together each day to be kind, to learn, and to be a positive leader. We conclude our meeting with daily affirmations. Why do we have morning meetings daily? This activity empowers students. It makes them feel important. They learn that their voice matters. They are listened to. It helps students share and recognize the progress the group or the individual has made. It helps to focus on expectations and goals. It meets individual needs for belonging. It also sets the tone for the day. A morning meeting allows students to reset their day if needed and provides that routine students thrive best within. The results are positive and uplifting, increase student confidence, and brings our class together. In addition, it provides a forum to produce a common goal or decision. It allows students to practice and develop full-body listening, teaches real-world skills, helps students find their strengths and the ability to advocate for themselves. It helps them address their challenges, resolve conflicts, and make responsible decisions. Best of all, it builds confident learners. This is a clip of a morning meeting. Kinsey is the leader. A few things you may want to notice in the clip. When the clip begins, Kinsey calls on the first student, who shares he just got a new guinea pig. She interacts with him by asking a follow-up question about the color of his guinea pig. She then continues to call on other students and acknowledges and interacts with them as well. About halfway through, she turns to her right and gently reminds the boys about listening first, then speaking. Toward the ends, she inserts something no one's mentioned. Here's Kinsey leading our meeting.
I had something to share today. somebody was over at my house and I jumped on the trampoline. Okay. At my house, I was watching TV and on Disney Plus, I was watching Star Wars, and a guy died from General Grievous. My brother got bit by a scorpion. By a what? A scorpion. And it was yellow. I have ABC Mouse on my mom's phone. I have ABC Mouse on my mom's phone, and if she looks up her info, she can type it in, and I can play ABC Mouse. And on the weekend, we're going to cut up my sister's pig. There was a caterpillar in my house, and a spider ate it, and I threw it outside. What type of cub was it? Yesterday, I was playing on my Xbox, and I played Madden, and I lost. It was 30-78. Owen, I went to a football game, and I saw Reagan's. Reynolds, you ever heard that? Yeah. Last night I played Minecraft, and I was trying to build a pool for my dogs. But when I did it, they couldn't get out, so I had to put a trap there. But I accidentally placed water in the pin, so I flooded my pin. Oh no! What are we doing well? Getting compliments. Regular. Being kind. John, didn't you ever hand that for me? I forgot. Abel. Staying in line and quietly. Savannah. Being kind. Getting in line quickly and quietly. I said that. Getting compliments. Doing my work quickly and quietly. And being quiet in the bathroom. No one said that. What do we need to work on? Regularly. Being kind. Able. Getting one more compliment. William. Finding out quietly. Wade. Doing our best work. John. Being quiet in the hallway. Lane. Taking time on your work. Yeah. Connor. Being quiet in the boys' bathroom. That's one thing. Rowan. Being quiet. Class motto. We work together each day to be kind, to learn, and to be a positive leader. Affirmations.
Yes, let's do our class affirmations. So we conclude our morning meetings with daily affirmations from Doggyland Kids Songs and Nursery Rhymes by Snoop Dogg. This video has dogs that dance to the song, and students dance along as they repeat the affirmations. I have an abridged version of the lyrics available as a handout if you're unable to hear what is being said, because we think the message is important. Here are the first graders repeating the affirmations.
I am responsible. I am responsible. I get better every single day. I'm surrounded by love. Every problem has an answer. Every problem has an answer. I deserve to feel good. I deserve to feel good. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I control my own happiness. I control my own happiness.
Student leadership continues throughout the day. In this slide, Marcella has shared her mathematical thinking. Kinsey has come to the screen to ask a question about her work. Students may ask questions, praise things done well, or even share a different strategy to solve the same problem. Students also lead what traditionally has been a parent-teacher conference. My students love being in charge of this. In the past, they always wondered what was being said about them. Leading the conference places the responsibility for their behavior and learning on themselves. In this is a clip of a student-led conference. Each of my students have a leadership notebook. Students track their own progress in core subject areas. At conference time, students share their self-evaluation, behavior charts, reading, math, spelling, and AR progress. This is a portion of Wade's conference.
This is my book, and I got all my I follow all the directions.
Skip
And I got, this is my counter, and I got no laps.
I'm
Sorry, that was totally my fault.
You put a chair up under her?
Well, I wanted to get her away from this
Oh.
grandpa so she could see.
This is my spelling test, and I got 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10, and 10. And this is my AR test, and I got 18 AR tests.
Where are we hoping to be by now?
Yeah, what's the goal?
25.
25. But that wasn't until your fault, right? Because at the beginning we couldn't log in.
Okay.
So that was a company problem. But we want to be by where by Christmas?
50.
50 by Christmas. So
Okay.
okay.
And the green is the good behavior, and the blue is the goodish behavior, and the yellow is the bad, a little bit behavior, and the white's bad.
Yeah, it's not behavior though. What is that testing?
Go back.
Remember we talked about this part where it's highlighted? But then they call it a funny name. What do we call it? Reading. Yeah, they call it early literacy. But so is green a good area to be in?
Yeah.
Setting SMART goals helps students focus on what they need to work on in class. Students know they're responsible for their own learning, their progress, and their behavior. During this student-led conference, Wade is sharing his goal page with his parents. We revisit goals every quarter. Students may update or change their goal for the next 9 weeks. This is the conclusion of Wade's conference as he shares his goal-setting page.
Okay, good
I'm
job.
glad you're able, you choose to share too.
Yeah, I'm really proud of him. But, all right.
And this is, we gotta fill it out and see how good we do.
Okay.
Like we gotta go right there.
So we've talked about your spelling and your reading and your math and all of that stuff, right? And so now we want to think of what do we want to do from now to Christmas to grow, right? So did you think about that a little bit before Mom and Dad came in? Or are you still thinking?
Still thinking.
Still thinking, okay. So this is his goal for this next quarter. And so he's right, he does it at home. And just fill that out, and it can be under any academic area that he and you
Okay.
all think that would help him grow as a first grader.
Cool.
Okay.
Was this what you were talking to me at home about? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you did talk about it. Good for you.
My students are proud to lead. They know the responsibility to succeed is in their hands.
At the junior high level, we shift from direct instruction to more the students taking the lead. So a few ways that we do this is through student lighthouse teams, service learning, direct lesson curriculum, and trust huddles. Okay. So lighthouse teams include bulletin board, lighthouse team, community service lighthouse team, and event and activity lighthouse team. Specifically, some of the things that they've done in the bulletin board is put up bulletin boards throughout the school to liven up the school a little bit, as well as write a newsletter that they share with their parents, sharing everything that's going on at the school. Community service lighthouse team has done community service like cleaning up leaves, beautifying the school grounds. In fact, tomorrow we have an event where the entire junior high is going to clean up the local community of Paxco by raking leaves and just doing whatever is needed for the whole afternoon. It's really cool to see 6th through 8th graders serving their community in that way. The event and activity lighthouse team, they plan specific events to celebrate academic achievements. Last year, this group planned a end of the year trip to the Royals game, and they really had a nice time to celebrate their 8th grade completion and moving into high school. The goals of the Lighthouse team are threefold. They put the habits into practice, they utilize problem-solving strategies, because as you may remember, junior high is a time where there's lots of problems to be solved, both relationally and academically. They also discuss on how to synergize using that habit 6 or cooperate and share ideas. The result of these teams is that the students identify that they truly are better together, and they begin to understand their skill sets and the talents that they can share with others and to benefit their school and community. At the junior high level, we also have Leadership Council. Students apply to be on this council by interviewing with school staff. The council practice leadership and decision-making and plans school events throughout the school year. In Wabaunesee School District, we really like to look at data to see where there's areas for growth. At the junior high level, it was evident from the MRA surveys that they took that we really needed to focus on school culture. And so we facilitated trust huddles. Trust huddles are 15 weeks, so pretty significant time for the students to be engaged in this. It's student-led, and it's 4 to 6 students. The goals of trust huddles include the students to form deeper connections with their trust huddle group, refine their knowledge of trust concepts while working together to review habits and process how to apply habits into their own lives. And then the students can also practice public speaking and take turns leading the group and practice creating and monitoring goals for the group. Here are just a couple of pictures of those trust huddles in action. So you can kind of see that they're building those relationships and having, setting goals as a group of how they're going to fulfill the next week and meet those goals. Each week focuses on a certain goal. Although it shifts in junior high, we still do weekly lessons. And these weekly lessons focus on habits as well as practicing creating personal WIGs or wildly important goals. Additionally, leadership notebooks are created for each student, which consists of items to contribute to the individual plans of study for when they get to high school.
Thank you, Sarah. So at the Wabaunesee High School, we start really focusing on putting the Leader in Me into action. And our students, they put extra emphasis on adding Habit 8 to our curriculum, which is finding your voice, and they focus on self-advocacy. We also continue to remind students the importance of self-care at all times by sharpening the saw or brainstorming different coping strategies for managing stress and frustration, because we know high school can be a hard and challenging time. Students are working really hard on deciding which classes to take, where to focus their efforts, what areas of study they're interested in. They work on college prep or post-secondary planning for technical school or job and career placement. You can really see when they come in as freshmen their progress as they're starting to focus more on that and really taking ownership over their classes and where they want to steer their goals for the future. We continue student-directed learning modules, which happen monthly during their study hall time at the end of the day. And students watch a video online, and then they do some question and answering about the different Leader in Me topics. So we don't go quite all the way away from the Leader in Me presentations, but it's more self-guided at that point. They really are practicing reaching out to staff, communicating what their needs are, asking questions, seeking to understand. They've developed their own mental health room by the students. They got a grant through one of their clubs, and they funded it, and they, as a student body, decided that they needed a room that maybe that they could go to and utilize when they're having difficulties. So they really are putting this Leader in Me into action. And here you can see that they're on a campus visit, and they are working to really find what they want in their post-secondary career. So service learning continues to go strong at our high school with many opportunities for volunteering, such as club activities, community cleanup events. We continue that from junior high. An open door project where students are serving food to our elderly community members once a month. And our teenagers are also serving students at the elementary and the junior high level. Any opportunity they can to go work with these younger kids and practice these habits, they do. Students get an opportunity to put Habit 6, Synergize, into action as they perform community service and have a better understanding of their unique contributions to others. So in our high school, while there's always adults present and willing and able to help, we really focus on having our students lead their clubs and their activities, really work to build those team leader skills, and practice all of those good communication skills that we want them to know and have as adults as well. So they work together along with our staff to synergize and develop ways to grow our clubs and network and become active participants in our community. We also are at the high school are seeking first to understand and then be understood, which is Habit 5. And since elementary school, I think you can see they are working hard on practicing empathetic listening, using iMessages, using kind words, working to problem solve with other students. And our students are refining their skills as they practice on-the-job training through their coursework with certain classes in the high school. So we have students in the high school who are working in the elementary classrooms as well as businesses in the community through our Career and Community Connections class, which we call CCC, at the high school level. And these classes are overflowing. These students are jumping at opportunities to lead and serve others, to work with the younger generations, and to get out into our community and work. We definitely take pride in the fact that our high school students don't fit the typical lazy teenager stereotype. They are out there, they are active, and they are wanting to engage with these other kids and in their communities. Those classes are oftentimes overflowing, and we have to try and scramble to find placement for them. And you can see at the bottom picture, so the top is a couple students that are leading a club. We have a lot of club meetings during lunch, and they are leading the club. And at the bottom is one of our high school students who's over at the elementary school, and she's leading a reading group with 3rd and 4th grade students. So we really like to get our students over there. We are also putting first things first, as a majority of our high school students are participating in 2 or more clubs and 2 or more sports on average. We are a small school. Our high school has about 120 students in it total. And so you can imagine that if how much time they have to invest in their activities and their sports. We don't have students who sit around much. They're oftentimes active in clubs, organizations, and multiple sports. So they must be proactive. They have to know how to manage their time, their emotions, their schedules, and they have to be able to think under pressure and really work when academics are challenging. They still have to be the best students they can be, as well as athletes and club members and friends. So we put a lot of emphasis on putting first things first. Then we also love to watch our students think win-win as they consider their talents and contributions and the roles that they play in their clubs and their sporting activities. I put this here as winning is a group effort at Wabaunesee, and I think we all know that in high school. That's kind of a theme, but I mean, we really see it actively playing out in our school. Just some examples that I wanted to bring up. We have a pep club. They send this out, in a week in advance. Somebody's designated, and they all participate. We have fundraisers that are student-led for families that are maybe in need. Our community is close-knit, and so if one of us needs help, we all step in. I put pumpkin patch out because we have a family that owns a pumpkin patch, 'tis the season, up there. And one day after school, he said to the group, he said, hey, I could really use some help. I got to set out pumpkins. And we had kids from every class, freshmen, juniors, seniors, sophomores, who just jumped right in. And they were like, yeah, we can come help, no problem. Everybody piled in, they go and they do the thing. And it's gaining nothing other than just helping their peer out. So, and then I put this picture. This is a picture of our homecoming dance this year. It's a little fuzzy, but we dig the colors. And so, one of the things I put it up here is because we are a small school. We had a new student who had come from a very large school, and you can imagine that might be a little intimidating. Coming to a new school where everybody's pretty close-knit. So as staff, we're trying to scramble and we're thinking, what can we do? What can we do? How can we get this kid connected? How can we make him feel a part of the team? But I tell you what, our students, we didn't need to do anything. Our students did it. At this dance in particular, he came in by himself, but by the end, everybody had formed a circle. They were having a dance battle. They were cheering for him. Everybody in that crowd, whether they were all good friends or not, every group, every student who was there, it became a thing, and that was his moment. And from now on, we haven't had to worry. Our students did that. They wrapped him up. They got him where he needed to be. So we really do think at Wabaunesee High School that if one of our students is winning, all of our students are winning. Okay. And then we're planning and thinking ahead. I love these pictures. I took these students up to a technical school up in Beloit, and they got to go and practice doing some things there. But we really are starting with the end in mind at Wabaunesee. We each, where each student has access since junior high, like Sarah talked about, their career and readiness plans, and this program helps students form an individual academic and career plan, as well as discover relevant college, university, trade, military, and career options for their personalities, the skills, and what they are knowledgeable in. They create an online portfolio, and they take that with them once they leave. And we really hope that when they leave us, that these leader in me habits continue helping them to find success outside of school, which our data would show that it does. So at the high school level, we are really taking charge of putting this into practice. It's putting the leader in me habits into action, and they get to meet with a counselor. We have college visits. So, like I said, all of these are really starting with the end goal in mind. We talk a lot about that when they meet with me, from freshman all the way through senior. So, we are very proud of our students. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Pitsch.
Okay, so just a couple things I wanted to point out just to make sure everybody was aware and give some context. In the clips that we showed, the parents were aware. In fact, we got, of course, parent permission to share those videos. That was a hidden camera. There was no scripting. Those students were doing authentic work, authentic leadership. It's pretty hard to fabricate things like kids coming in and out of the room, or a parent unintentionally pulling the chair out from underneath their child during the meeting. But again, I want you to know this is very authentic. Furthermore, you can see that we have a lot to be proud of, but we are by no means asserting that we have it all together and that our world is perfect. We are not so evolved that we don't have growth, and so we're constantly looking for growth within our leadership team on how we can bring ourselves up even further. So just know that we are not sitting on our haunches, standing on our laurels thinking that we've got it all together. We still have growth, and we still have room to grow, and we're going to continue to grow. And so with that said, I would like to open it up, and we're willing to answer any softball questions you guys might have. Yes, sir.
So, you did this 6 years, right? This is 6th year.
Yeah, this is our 7th year, actually.
So what did you do prior to this, comparatively speaking, in a short presentation-wise? And what was the aha moment that made you change to what you're doing now?
So I'm going to have to go to the historian in our group because, except for one of us, most of us are within 2 years of arriving in the district. So we're going to turn it over to Susan. Susan, could you speak to that?
Honestly, I think it was just being brave and trying it, and then taking the moments that worked and running with them. So I noticed in my classroom after the Ms. Dunn's counterpart had come in and taught some Leader in Me lessons, and then I used that to follow up. We had fewer behavior problems such as recess or places like that. Student-led conferences, the same kind of thing. Like I said, the kids always wondered, what do you talk about me? And so then it's like, well, you need to be responsible for your own actions. And so when they started explaining their own thinking and what they wanted to learn and where they wanted to go, it was so obvious that it was positive. And so that's how we kind of knew things were working at my primary level. And I think that showed all the way across. The kids took a lot of pride. We are cleaning leaves and things in our elementary playground too. And it's just kids, can I rake leaves? Sure. Here's a rake. You know, I mean, that's just how you just find those positive moments and you're brave and you run with them.
Hi, what amount of time would you say, like say just an average 7-hour school day, over time, how much time do you dedicate to this stuff versus the basics of math, reading, science? Or is it all mixed in? How's that work?
So it's going to vary by the academic level. And so if you're particularly interested in elementary.
I just got to say.
Okay.
So it becomes embedded in your day. It's not a little separate lesson. So we just live it and speak it all the time. So if the kids are interacting with one another, you know, that's a time to jump in and insert some of these things, like listen first, then speak. Things like that. So it's so embedded in the day, it's not even really a separate lesson all the time. There are separate lessons. Jordan comes into my classroom, but we are doing it all day long in every academic subject. That's why I put up the math lesson. So we talk a lot about the culture of, you know, somebody's put themselves out there and put their work up there. How do you respond to that? And so once we talk about that and they start interacting with each other, it just becomes such a part of your day. It's not an individual time drain. It's just embedded all day long.
We do have dedicated time during the course of each week, during homerooms, or what we call AB, where cores are not taught, and this is when they use that time to present Leader in Me lessons. But they become less pointed and more broaden as the grades progress. So at the high school, the conversations are more about application in those times versus at the elementary level where it's teaching the actual skills of leadership.
Can I just add in there? Lessons each week for the elementary are about 20 minutes long, and my junior high lessons are 30 minutes.
So I'm just curious, we learned a lot this morning about measuring outcomes. And so I'm just curious, was there an identified deficiency that would cause this to take precedent over, you know, like she mentioned, the core subjects? And in 6 years, have you measured outcomes and noticed any difference in the math, reading, science, you know, the core subjects because of this introduction?
So if you look at the correlation between the date of introduction and our trajectory in both math and ELA, you'll see that it's been an upward climb, nonstop. Even through the COVID years when everybody else regressed, we continued improvement. I don't think that this is a standalone. This has to be incorporated in, as she said, to everything we do. But I think we can't say, you know, there's a difference between correlation and causation. So we can't say that the Leader in Me is solely responsible for what happened. We do have fantastic kids. We've got high accountability in the district. We have a shared sense of values and a value system that works well within our community. But it is interesting to say, in the least, that the increase in our trajectory in our ELA and math performance started the year that we began the Leader in Me program.
And can I just address
Absolutely.
your question about like why did the school district focus on specifically social emotional curriculum versus academic type curriculum? I think that's what you were asking. This is my second year, but from what I've been told is historically Wabaunesee County, their per capita for death by suicide is significantly higher than than the state average. So I think that's why they really focused on making the social emotional curriculum such a priority.
It'd be more specific. They had several suicides that were very difficult for the district to handle, students and adults, especially in one significant year. And so I think it just all came together, and there was a realization by the leadership, including the superintendent, that something needed to be done other than what was happening.
So I just have a quick question. For years in our district, parent involvement's kind of dwindled. We don't have many situations or activities, I think, where we really, trying to get parents involved. Do you see with this Leader in Me, do you see a lot of parent involvement or a lot of parents like honing in on this and really trying to help their kids through this process?
Yes, absolutely. So so you can see I'm the data person, and these are the character development folks, and I'm the character. So I'm going to let them talk about the character development.
So the Leader in Me is really unique in that it has a lot of resources and a lot of ideas and a lot of event planning types of things within it that you can incorporate a lot more community and family involvement because it's an emphasis as part of that program. So we do family nights where, like, for example, with my son, because he's a fourth grader, we came to like a family math night last year, and it was just a bunch of math games, and we got to interact with other families, and it was really fun. But they do different types of leader events all the time, and there are options within the program for you to cater to what is best for your district. So.
Dr. Pitsch, I have a question.
Yes.
I want to make sure I heard something correctly. Did I hear a first grader talking about a goal that was set to go from here to there by a certain amount of time?
That is correct.
So would it be reasonable to think that adults could do that too?
Well, and when I was watching the classroom meeting, I thought to myself, I bet some principals wish they could have staff meetings that went that well. And that people were so willing to identify, as you saw, they talked about their glows, where are we doing really well? But then the next piece was, well, where do we need to grow? And the kids were very quick. It was honest, it was genuine. And that's why we brought these clips, because this is the authentic, granular work that happens in our district. And it's not so much to show off, but to let everyone know this is what could be in every district. Now, to address the question about parent involvement, I have experience in multiple levels. I've worked in the urban core, I've worked in suburbs, in large districts of 25, 30, 40,000 students, and now in small districts as well. Parent involvement in our district is interesting in that the parents that want to be involved are involved as usual, but the ones that typically don't show up, there is still this element of trust, and you can feel it in the climate. The families trust the schools trust their leaders, the leaders trust the school board, and the school board trusts its leadership. They hire the people that they want to get behind, and they get behind us. And it's kind of that total package that moves this train forward. Parent involvement is very essential, but we have a lot of parents that are willing to release surveillance, if you will, and just let the work get done. So we're very fortunate in that regard. Yes?
Just can you yell?
Stretch our legs.
I don't want to pigeonhole you, but is your response to SEL to develop a culture of good civics versus wokeism?
So that's not going to pigeonhole me. I think it's okay to talk about things like this. It's important. We're trying to build good citizens. That's the key. The fact that we haven't been building good citizens in some regard may be some of the problems that we're seeing now in our society. But yes, the open door committee meeting where the kids go and serve our senior citizens, there was a point to that. I started that because we want our students to talk to the folks that have been through, that can share history of the area, personal histories, and again, that's part of that shared sense of values and that fabric that keeps our community together very tightly. It's a good question.
Are any of your school board members present?
Sort of. So Ms. Meinhardt was a school board member that stepped down from her position so she could join our team. So I don't know how that sounds, but to me it's pretty awesome.
I was going to give you a chance to speak on their behalf, but between the two of you, can you comment on what the school board's acceptance or involvement was when you initiated this?
Yeah, Kelly was there, absolutely.
So I came in onto the board a couple years after Leader in Me had been purchased and had been implemented. But there's never been a question about whether or not the board was going to be willing or accepting of this program and focusing on character development. And I think that's what we really wanted to focus on, was character development. I know that there's a lot of questions about SEL and different things and what the end goal is, but really we're trying to develop good people. And that's, I think, our goal in education has always been to develop good people. And so if we had an opportunity as a board to promote something or to implement something that was going to help build good people from the ground up, from our kindergarten to 12th grade, we were going to do it, and we were supportive of that. And we have seen what was nice is that because we are data driven, we were able to see that it was implementing good things. We were seeing good results. But I do think, we do want to really focus on that character development, those skills that help our students to be lifelong learners and functioning great adults as they leave our high school, and we're seeing good results in that. So that's from my perspective.
I do. I've been to the flipping. That is a good question. So I think there are elements that do intersect and overlap to a certain degree. But what I recall from flipping's capturing kids' hearts was more about relationships between the adults and the students. There was a focus on improving the communication, the conversation between teacher and student, increasing the trust, increasing the dialogue. So that knowledge could be exchanged and the students felt comfortable and knew that these people were in their corner. Going through that program was quite a transformation, and I was in a very large school. We had probably, I think, 2,000 kids, and we were able to do it, and it was a transformation of the entire district. Absolutely. The most difficult piece was the buy-in. And so you're going to have some folks that struggle with things like standing outside their door and greeting students. They don't necessarily understand the purpose of it. And I think that was probably the biggest obstacle to the larger districts, was just the buy-in piece. Mm-hmm.
We better move on.
Thank you,
Can't
everyone.
thank you guys enough. Great job.